Thank you to Mooer for sending in the Mooer GE100 Pro. This is the battery version. It also comes without a battery if you prefer that one. Let's get stuck into some presets. Alright, let me give you a quick rundown of the Mooer GE100 Pro Li, which is the one that I've got on the desk here. You can also get the Pro version, which doesn't have the battery, and as you can see, we get a black and a white alternative up here. Now, the cool thing with mine, you can charge it up and then just use it on the built-in lithium-ion battery and you'll be good to go, and it should last you a few hours. It's got a headphone output socket, get a couple of analog outputs, which is how I'm recording in today's video, or it could be used as a dedicated audio interface with a USB-C cable. But the USB-C cable that came with it's way too short to hook this up, so I'll be using the analog outputs. Now, the whole AI thing's a little bit divisive when it comes to guitarists, and I totally get it. Not everyone's into it, but if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. But the premise of it is that you can use their app, and there's a little chat prompt where you can say, hey, create this tone of Eric Clapton's or Jimi Hendrix or whatever, and then it will do its best to replicate that in the pedal for you without needing to know the signal chain. So if you're a beginner, it's a good place to start, but just know it's very hit and miss, and I'll showcase that in a minute. Now, I've reviewed their amplifiers, and they're some of my favorite small practice amps, even without the AI stuff. The presets are very musical. The presets in this are very musical as well. You've heard quite a few of them already. Now, I'll just give you a quick rundown of some of the other features. So we get an 80-second looper. There's drum grooves built in, or of course you can use the metronome. We get Bluetooth connectivity, so if you want to stream music to it and then jam along, you can do that as well, or just connect your phone for the app. It's very simple. We get an IR loader, which means if you've already purchased impulse responses from any brand, you can load them into here, no problems at all. There's plenty of different effects built into this, from stomp boxes to amplifiers to cabs and all the rest of the things that come along with the multi-effects processor pedal. So there's hundreds of things to choose from if you combine them all. Now, if you're a live player, we get an RGB lighting system, which is supposed to enhance stage presence with a futuristic look. Or at least that's the blurb on the back of the box, but it actually looks really cool. It's just a strobing RGB thing that's down there. I really like the look of it. It's just something a little bit different. The built-in screen's really easy to see, even when I'm looking across and down diagonally at it. Some units you have to be right on top of it to look down on them. With this, I can sit back like this and I can see exactly what I'm on, which is great. Maybe the only compromise with this unit compared to others is that there's no touchscreen functionality. You do everything either via the phone or via the hardware keys. We get two main controls, a select and master, which helps you navigate through each of the options. There's also a chain option, which gets you through all of the different effects that are built into it. We get a home button, so if you're in the menu and you're not sure how to get back, just hit that home button, nice and simple. And we've got our EXP button, which takes care of the expression pedal. So we've got our function, calibrate, and expression volume options on screen. If you want to control the tempo of the metronome or drum tracks, we've got a tap tempo button. Nice and simple again to do so. Our system button gets you through the menu and all the different options. There's a dedicated rhythm button for going straight into the rhythms or the drum tracks. If you make adjustments to any of the presets, or if you want to save your own from scratch, there's a dedicated save button on the unit also. The big advantage of the app over using the hardware keys is when it comes to storing your presets names. So just know it's going to be a lot easier typing on your phone, for example, as opposed to using the wheels and controls. While the foot switches, pots, and buttons all feel great, there's a couple of things you need to know. One, it's a plastic enclosure from what I can tell, and also the expression pedal, while the feel of it is fine, it's also plastic. You know, some of them I've tested have a big, thick piece of metal or plastic there. This one's quite thin compared to others that I've reviewed. So you know, if you're really heavy footed, just watch out. While we get a dedicated USB-C power input for powering and charging the pedal, interestingly enough, they omitted just using a normal 9-volt DC, sort of typical power supply input. There's none there. I got my one spot out. I was like, where's the input? Yeah, there isn't one. So you've got to use that USB-C cable. So yeah, just be well aware of that. The foot switches are all metal as well, and they feel great. They've got that nice soft switching system and allows you to either go through each preset, or of course you can go through each bank. Let's take a look at the AI generator tool built into this. So all you have to do is type in this chat prompt here, what you want, and it will generate 3 tones. And it generated these first 3 ones, which are based on the Eric Clapton Bad Love sound, which I actually really like. Some people don't like that one, but we're going to try a few anyway. But it gives you 3 to choose from. So you can preview them just by hitting play. And you can see that now on the pedal, it's loaded up. Here we go. We'll go bridge. That first one's actually pretty good. It doesn't always nail it, by the way, so don't always expect it to work great. But the cool thing is, I can tell it to add more gain, right? And the more specific you are, the better the end result will be. So let's see what it does. All right, it's given me 3 new ones. Let's see if there's an improvement. We'll start on the first one again. You know what? That's actually pretty good. I'm shocked. It seems like it's a lot easier to dial in than it was last time I tried this a few months ago. So yeah, at least this one worked. Let's try another one. Over to one of my favorite Dire Straits tones of all time. Let's try this. I'll start with the volume down. A little bit too high gain, but it feels very close, at least to my recollection of the tone. Anyway, let's try this one. You know, these aren't too bad. I wasn't overly favorable about the last review I did of their amp with these particular sounds, but this is actually pretty good. So it's given me the cleaner rhythm tone and also the drive tone, which you can work your volume control for. So, you know, that Knopfler thing's to kind of... Not too bad. Let's try a more complex tone now. I asked the AI chat prompt to come up with some Carlos Santana tones with a modern edge, so like his later stuff. But let's have a listen to this. It's a lot of delay on there. I'm not sure he plays with that much, but he may do so. That's not too bad. I mean, it's not the worst tone I've ever heard. I don't know if it's just because I'm playing a hint of a solo that it sounds like him or not, but anyway, let's have a listen to this one. I don't know what that flanging effect is, but that's definitely not something I'm overly familiar with. Ooh, here we go. This sounds already like it could be right up my alley. So that's overly compressed, and to be honest, it just doesn't sound very good. So what I'm going to do is reduce, delay, add more gain and mids, remove all modulation. Now, if Carlos actually plays with modulation, then it is what it is, but I kind of find it a little distracting for what kind of sound I'm going for. So we'll let this do its thing and then we'll reconvene. Actually, it's pretty quick now. Let's give this a shot. Now, I finally kind of nailed the sound, but now I've got like the most amount of background noise ever going on. Let's have a listen to this. It's actually not bad. Yeah, clearly that background noise is going to kill me. So what I'm going to do is add a noise gate after the cab just to bring everything down. And I'll just use this noise killer option. It's actually pretty good. Even with the volume up, it's dead quiet. Can't believe the amount of sustain. And you can fully customize the signal chain from here on. If you want to add more effects, you can do so, or you can just learn to see what it actually added. So it used a boogie, which is something Carlos used a lot. So it's kind of picked the right amp, and then you can fine tune the gain structure, the bass, the mids, all that kind of stuff from here. Change the cab if you want a different sound, save it, and you're in business. And again, the easy thing with the app is I can just hit save button, rename it from here just by clicking on the, or tapping on the actual name and hitting done. And that's it. There's also a really handy save button on the unit. Just save it from here as well. Let's go through some of the preset banks. So in each bank, there's 3 that you can choose from. And we're going to start with the first one, which is clean, go to the crunch, and then the lead tone. Very musical, straight out of the box. Bank 4 has the JCM 800 tones, and these are mighty. If you're a fan of the Marshall amps, take a listen to this. Go bridge pickup, and then we'll get over to neck. Yeah, what a tone. Bank 5 has all of the JCM 900 tones except for the last one, which is the Super PowerBELL, which is a different kind of sound. Here we go. I mean, that's a completely different sound, that last one, but it really comes alive. I dig it. Over to the Boogie tones, we've got a Mark III, a Mark V, and a triple rectifier, all on bank 6, which I dig. Have a listen to this. It's high gain, it's a bit out of my element, but I'll try my best. Now the interesting thing with these buttons is you've really got to push them. My instinct sometimes is to just tap them, but you've really got to push them past the point where it clicks. Otherwise it doesn't always work. Like you saw me just sort of hit the button, but it didn't actually take me to the next bank because I didn't push it hard enough. You've really got to give it a good push when you press down. If you're a fan of orange amps, Bank 7 has the rhythm in the center and a really rockin' lead tone in position A. So we'll start on position B for this one. Now those two sound great, but if you're looking for something more old school, you can go to the C, which is called Two Stones Edge. Great tone. Beautiful. Let's go through some clean tones on position 12, which gives us the warm US clean and also the sonic clean. I really like both of these. Here we go. In the center, we've got the Bassman, which I don't love. It sounds okay. Just a bit honky, it's too much reverb, and yeah, I don't really like that anywhere near as much as this one. Now the pedal's actually on a table. I'm not using it with my foot, unfortunately, but I'll show you how the wah kind of works. Now minus the fact it's really hard to coordinate that without using my foot. I play wah a lot when I play live, and it gives you a very similar tone to what I'm used to hearing from my GCB 95F. So that's really cool. It's got that sort of vintage wah sound. Let's go through some bass tones. Now what I'm going to do is just use the P bass pickup in the neck position for now. Anyway, this with the tone rolled all the way up. I'm also going to showcase some drum tracks because my timing sucks without it when I play bass. So here we go. The last one's definitely got some attitude. Now with both pickups, that sounds like a produced bass guitar to my ear. I almost said drum track, but it sounds like a really great bass guitar recording without having to do anything. This is the preset. Being that there's not a whole lot of bass presets built into this, what I'm going to do is build my own one. So we can tap on any of these just by hitting the plus, and then we've got all of these things that we can add. So we're going to go into the amps, and we'll go down to the bottom here where they always store the bass ones. Keep going, and you can get a good sense of just how many things we can choose from. Look at this. There's like, you know, oh God, there's just heaps of these different things. So we're going to go Ampog. We'll go clean for this one. Now you always need a cab, otherwise it's going to sound pretty bad. So we'll go into the cab and we'll go down to a matching one here. Let's do the 4x12. Actually, let's do, yeah, we'll go this one. We'll go 15 just for something a little bit different. And we'll have a listen to how this sounds. Sounds pretty good, right? So what we can do now, if we want, we can add something else in the signal chain. We'll go down to our noise killer. We want to add this so there's less hiss coming through. That's always a good thing to add. And you can tap it on and off just by pushing the power button on screen. It's pretty cool. Now, if we go over here, we can find ourselves a compressor. So let's do that. We'll go to effects. We'll go into S-Comp. We'll add this. And if I want to change the signal chain order, I can just drag or push, hold, and drag around. So let's have a listen to this. Sounds great already. Now, if you want to add reverb or delay, you absolutely can. You can go in here and add all of that kind of stuff as well. We can go into the reverbs, and I'm just going to add a plate. So we're going to go for more of like a live sound now, and we'll have a listen to this. So yeah, now it's got some echo on it. If you're a bass player, let us know what you think of that. I think it sounds pretty convincing. All right, let's wrap this up. I'm gonna give you some final thoughts here on the Mooer GE100 Pro Li. Now, in terms of tones, the presets sound fantastic. You won't even really need to mess with the AI stuff. The clean tones sound great. The drive tones are very inspiring. And if you're a bass player, it sounds like a recorded bass track. It's beautiful. So if you've got some studio monitors, or if you're going out of the headphone output socket on the back, you'll be able to get some really nice sounds. The drum machine can be configured to bring the volume up or down, change the groove, speed, tempo, all that kind of thing. So it's a very good practice tool. Now, it is quite lightweight, and I was quite shocked when it showed up. The box isn't very big, and neither is the unit, but it's built relatively well. Again, it is mostly what feels like plastic around the outside here, and the expression pedal is definitely thinner than what I'm used to seeing. But unless you're really hitting it hard, you probably won't have an issue with that. A lot of people who use these like to record directly to a computer, and for that, it's going to be fine. You get some nice rubber feet on the bottom, and that's cool. But there's a couple of things missing, which I want to talk about. One, obviously already I've mentioned the fact that you can't power this with like a one-spot power supply. So if you're used to doing that, you'll need to keep it powered with a 5-volt 2-amp USB power delivery device. And I'll link down to one in the description because that stuff can get kind of confusing. But I like the fact that it's a separate port to the USB-C port that goes to the computer if you want to use this as an audio interface. So what else is missing? It says Pro on the unit, but there's no effects loop anywhere on here. So if you are used to using an effects loop, or you want to route something else in externally, there's no option to do so. You'll just have to run it through the input of this, or run it after this. So yeah, you can make your mind up whether or not that's for you. I really like the layout. The screen's beautiful. Having the save, tap, rhythm, and system buttons on this side are good, but I kind of wish the home button was over there as well. That would make more sense. Instead, the home button's on the right. It's just something I kept wanting to do, was to hit the home button on this side. I don't know if it's just, I've worked with other units that have that, but yeah, it's just a minor learning curve at best. But yeah, it's definitely worth mentioning. All the buttons feel good. You really do have to push them quite hard to activate them. There are a few times through this video where I heard it click, but I didn't actually push it past the point where it actually changes. But they're really nice switches. I have no complaints with them. They'll probably loosen up a little bit over time anyway, so that's pretty cool. When it comes to the AI chat prompt via the app, there's a couple of things you need to know. One, you need an account to access that, which is a bit of a bummer. It should just have guest mode. I don't know why you have to sign in. So just an email address and password, but it's another thing to remember, right? So yeah, it's food for thought with that. But I love the fact that the AI was overall better than my last attempt with it. Now, if you missed my amp review video, I'll link that up here so you can see how much I struggled to get a good sound. But this time it worked really well, or it worked well enough where I'd be like, hey, that's a pretty good starting point. And then you can go in and customize the tones. Now, If you're obsessed with certain people's tones and you want it exactly the same, the AI thing will get close, but it won't be exact. And that's where you've got to have some manual intervention anyway. But it's enough of a starting point now where the tones are quicker to generate, and then you can go in and tweak them nice and simply with this unit. It's a lot easier because of the fact you can see exactly what's in your signal chain, whether you're using the phone or not, and then you can kind of fiddle around with the options within the unit. So I really like that. There's so many effects in here. There's every amplifier, there's every kind of pedal and all that kind of stuff. So if you're someone who likes to really tinker with your sound, you can do that with this and set up the signal chain in whatever order you like, which is kind of refreshing. You know, some of them hard limit you to where you can put stuff. That's not the case with this. At the end of the day, this has been a whole lot of fun. I think some of the tones are great. If you're a bass player or a guitarist and you found this video helpful, drop a thumbs up before you go. I really appreciate it. Comment below, let us know what you think. And I'll link to this down in the pinned comment. Thanks again. It's been a long day putting this video together. They take about 5 hours. I'll catch you soon. See ya.